Hey everyone, Notion Workflow, or Ray, back at it with another video. Charts has probably been out for over a week now since this video's been published. Maybe 2 weeks now, but in today's video I just kind of want to have a chat / share my opinion on where I think Notion's headed, share my thoughts around charts, and kind of the way that might change the landscape of Notion. So, as you know, there's 4 of those different chart types. I think those are a nice starter pack for charts. Notion charts really sort of expands the horizons of what Notion can be. I think being able to visualize information is so powerful, and I think especially within Notion where you've had to rely on third-party tools and just a variety of other things to get what you're looking for, it's awesome that now it's native. If you haven't checked out notion.so/releases, we also see Notion Forms coming out, and they've started the beta for that, and I can imagine probably be out in a few weeks or within a few months. And so it's nice that they're being more open with all their releases and being generous with that information. But anyways, Notion Charts, I think, changes the use case of the tool substantially. And I think the reason why I believe that is going to be the case is also because Notion formulas also can interact with Notion charts. And I didn't think that was going to be possible, honestly, when Notion charts finally came out. But I tried it, and I'll show you a little bit later, because I do think when you can combine the two, you can do so much more than you could in the past. One really good example of this is someone reached out from the channel and wanted some help around one of their rankings for a monthly participation in one of their favorite activities. And I was working on a formula to show the top 3 players by frequency for that month, and then to show the top 3 by name and frequency, so that you kind of have a picture of how frequent someone's been participating in their monthly gaming activities. I spent about an hour getting the base of that formula tucked away, and then realized that what happens with tiebreakers? What happens when 2 or 3 people have the same frequency, and can there be 3-way and 2-way ties? And the answer was yes. So that was just another logic example or constraint to think about when you're purely using formulas to measure and calculate stuff. Now, long story short, that same person reached out the day after, maybe half of a day after Notion Charts was released, and they quickly were able to visualize what they were looking for immediately outside the box when they use Notion Charts. And so he paid me for my work, and then I didn't need to write a formula anymore. And the best thing was it looked better when you visualize it, and you add color, and you don't have to read a table. You can look at a visualization. I think some people struggle to read everything that they might possibly see on a page, and I think being able to show a visual summary of something is much more powerful and quicker for someone to grasp what they're looking at. I think the settings that you can change in charts is also pretty nice, and I think I'll make some videos. I've already worked with several clients now where they want to immediately implement Notion charts because there's immediate tactile value in being able to quickly summarize numbers. I think when you combine it with groups, sorts, and filters, I think you can really do a lot in very simple ways to make the digestion of information easier, right? I think previously, if you were convincing a decision maker within your organization to use Notion and they wanted a quick way to visualize information, now you have a native way to do that. And I think it's game breaking in a lot of ways. I think it's going to change the way templates are going to be built. It's going to change the way that other database views are being used. And it's also going to change, I think, the way we approach general builds if it's numerically or quantitatively heavy information. I think the fact that you're also able to take advantage of categorical and even qualitative information, I think is really powerful. And obviously they're pretty rudimentary charts, right? If you compare it to like Excel, it's nowhere near that sort of caliber, but this optionality is nice and it's free. I've gone ahead and sort of experimented. I drafted up this page for work because someone was curious to know if there was a way in which you could group or filter specific to a roll-up. And so I'm not sure exactly what the full context of the request was, but I basically created this to demonstrate availability of formula outputs and being able to manipulate that within a Notion chart to sort of illustrate that there could be a potential workaround. I basically made a simple formula, right? 3 different statuses, all specific to a number and some constraints. I have 3 different entries to sort of show those outputs. And so if I scroll down, you can see this chart represents those statuses that I have and the total of those numbers that represent those statuses. And so the fact that you're able to manipulate and show a formula as a y-axis on all of these charts, I think is game-changing, like I already mentioned. And I think it's worth noting and worth taking advantage of if you have a basic understanding of formulas, you've been following this channel, and you want to create different statuses that are specific to very specific property choices that you also want to visualize, right? So I think in one of my videos that I shared way back in the day, I talked about thinking about X and Y relationships and to think about a causal relationship that you could visualize using the database views. So here we are now with that exact way to do that, and in a way where we can filter. The fact that we're able to filter and create advanced filters, I think, is quite powerful as well. And even as simple as this, I don't know how useful this is or how descriptive it is, generally speaking, and how usable it is for sending to certain people, but it's cool that they're already thinking about this stuff, and I think it can only go up from here. I mean, all of this stuff you probably already knew, maybe not the formula situation, but I do think that is a huge advancement and a huge opportunity to combine your knowledge of formulas with your sort of intuition around visualizing that information as well. I think my channel might start to sort of blend the idea of charts and formulas together so that we can create more powerful ways to custom create or custom organize our information visually and natively in Notion. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. There's been a lot of life stuff happening, all pretty good stuff, but my life is getting busier, and so my upload schedule is going to be every 2 weeks now. Not that anyone's ever asked about that, or if anyone cares, but here's a video to tell you that I'll be uploading every 2 weeks, and potentially every 3 weeks, because I'll be starting my MBA, moving to a new city with my partner, and trying a bunch of new things, meeting a bunch of new people, and being curious about a lot of different things while learning in an academic setting. So that's it. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.